This is the story of how two people left successful professional careers to serve God full-time and spread hope. It's a story behind how Pilgrim Center of Hope was established. Hello and welcome to part one of our Rejoice in Hope journey with Deacon Tom and Mary Jane Fox, co-founders and co-directors of Pilgrim Center of Hope. Over the next few minutes, we'll discover how they responded to a need for renewal of faith in the San Antonio area.
We're so grateful to have this opportunity to share our testimonies, to talk about our conversions, and how Jesus called us to full-time ministry by founding Pilgrim Center of Hope in 1993. It has been quite a journey, one which has revealed to us the importance of providence, prayer, patience, and how God gives us the grace to take us beyond ourselves and out to others.
What was it that sparked your decision to literally leave everything, take a leap of faith, and become missionaries of hope?
We love telling the story. I received a miracle healing from a very painful and incurable illness. It was during a healing service held at our parish. There was a moment when I saw in my mind the risen Lord standing in front of the tomb, and he was holding out his hand to me and he was smiling at me. I really believe that that moment Jesus healed me, and this encounter with Jesus gave me a deep desire to grow in my faith in him.
At this time, I was a Sunday-only Catholic. However, seeing what was happening with Mary Jane certainly inspired me. It was about that same time when a co-worker asked me if Jesus was the Lord of my life, and of course I had heard that phrase many times before. But at that moment, our Lord gave me the grace to ponder the question. And of course, at that time I would have to say that no, Jesus wasn't the Lord of my life. My faith wasn't a major influence in the decisions that I made. I then developed a real desire to make some changes. Fortunately, during that time, through Mary Jane's travel career, she earned an incentive which was 2 airline tickets to any destination in the world. Because of this recent faith experience, we decided to go to the Holy Land. And it was during those 2 weeks, visiting churches built over the holy sites where Jesus died and rose, that we saw the rich history of our church. And in meeting local Christians, fellow pilgrims, and the Franciscans and other religious, our eyes were opened to how truly universal the church is. Without a doubt, that was a life-changing experience.
It was. Tom and I returned with a deeper love for our church and a conviction to get more involved in our parish. Tom entered the process to become a deacon, and I volunteered as a lector. Fortunately, another opportunity arose for travel, and we chose the Holy Land again. And it was during that second pilgrimage that we both received separately the same calling, which was to leave our careers and to serve the church full time, not knowing really what that meant. Our first thought was to become missionaries. We spoke to our pastor, and he said we didn't have to leave the country to become missionaries. He offered us a full-time job, a full-time work at our parish at St. Matthew.
The pastor met with us on that very first day with his vision of the home visitation ministry. He showed us a map of the parish boundaries and gave us a stack of bulletins and told us that we were to go door to door to every home in the parish, not just to registered parishioners. He pointed to the map and said, "Start right here." At the end of that day, we saw how much this ministry was needed. And for the next 7 years, we went door to door, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. In the first few years, we visited over 10,000 families.
What did you discover as you visited more and more homes?
We met with our pastor weekly and shared with him the stories that we were hearing. He listened and said, "Okay, let's address what is needed."
Right, a few examples were the parish began offering Bible studies, transportation was arranged so that the elderly at home could attend Mass, a senior center was founded, perpetual adoration of Jesus in the Eucharist was also established. Because our pastor responded to those needs, St. Matthew Church continued to grow, and it is one of the most busiest and largest parishes in San Antonio.
And it was at that same time that Pope John Paul II called for a new evangelization, an awakening in the church so that people would have a new fervor and a zeal for sharing their faith. In response to this, we believe that God was calling us to move outside the parish to found an evangelization center to serve the archdiocese. We thought it would be to help other parishes start home visitation ministries.
After meeting with Archbishop Patrick Flores about our desire to begin a new ministry of evangelization, we received his blessing. But we needed a place, and God provided through a vacated convent that was for rent. It belonged to the Teresian sisters, whose order was founded by St. Henry the Oso, who encouraged his religious sisters to visit homes. He believed by going to the home, God could renew families. So all of this began in the Holy Land. Tom and I believe God called us to him so he could renew the two of us. He took the few loaves and fishes of our acts of faith, and he has multiplied them so more people can be nourished. We encountered God and found joy. It is a joy that cannot be contained, and when we give our yes to him, he renews each of us and sends us out to share this joy. And through Pilgrim Center of Hope, God is renewing his church and his family.
I first met Deacon Tom and Mary Jane Fox when I registered at St. Matthew Parish more than 35 years ago. At that time, all I knew about the Foxes was that they had started a new ministry, and they had basically taken a blind leap of faith because they had given up both their jobs to follow John Paul II's call to the new evangelization. We are all baptized Catholics and Christians, and as such, we're all called to evangelize. But here's the thing. I'm not the door-to-door kind of knocking on doors and going down the street trying to evangelize to people. I can't do that. I can't do what other people do like that. Instead, what this new evangelization calls us to do is to find our own unique ways to spread the message of the gospel, the message of the good news. Deacon Tom and Mary Jane Fox had a huge vision. They took the mustard seed of the new evangelization and grew it year by year, struggle by struggle, into the huge tree that it has now become. And in my own life, what I have taken from the Pilgrim Center of Hope is I have seen the Pilgrim Center of Hope bring the gospel to life for thousands. Through outreach and other ways, I have gotten the idea that maybe I too can develop new and novel ways of spreading the gospel of the Lord to others. You can do that too. If we all think hard enough, we can all see that there is some way that we can use our gifts, our talents to spread the good news of the gospel. The Pilgrim Center of Hope's mission is just not national, it is international. It has spread far and wide, and in that has increased the light in the world. Most of us are not going to put ourselves out there like Deacon Tom and Mary Jane Fox have done. We're shy, we're reticent, we're not going to do that. But you know what we can do today? You can look on your computer and you can go to the website for the Pilgrim Center of Hope and find out something that you can do, no matter how small you think it is, to help further the mission of the Pilgrim Center of Hope. Your contribution, your donation, your volunteerism, no matter how small, can be multiplied thousands and thousands of times by the Lord to help advance his mission. And you know what? When you see Jesus, he's going to recognize you as one of those who fed the hungry, visited the prisoners, comforted the lonely, and brought light into the world. In these dark times, you know that if there is anything that the world needs, it is light, and you can help bring that light into the world by joining the Pilgrim Center of Hope in its mission to evangelize and spread the good news of the gospel. Thank you very much for listening to me. God bless you all, and take care.
Tune in tomorrow and throughout this week to find out the rest of this story. I think you'll like it, and I think it will raise your hope. God bless you.